Please welcome on stage Nicolai Gropper, Head of Business Development at Audi Business Innovation, and Nicola Büsse, co-founder of MOBIKO, the latest spin-off of the Audi Business Innovation. And yeah, when founded 1 year ago, Nicola decided to change her corporate role into a co-founder position. So Nicola, how has your life changed since then?
Well, first of all, thanks for having us on the stage again. Feels good to be back. To be honest, it wasn't that traumatic of a change because back when I was working for Audi Business Innovation, I also worked on MOBIKO. So the topic was the same. It was just really probably contract-wise that it changed. So I got a new work contract, and responsibilities changed quite a lot because I haven't had a boss anymore, which I could ask if there was some critical issues coming up. So I really had to take the decisions by myself, and which gave me a lot of more responsibilities and them to design something that we would like to design for the world or for the mobility change.
MOBIKO, that is a subsidiary of Audi. So we're actually out of those corporate structures. When founded, it was an independent company outside of Audi structures. What's the reason behind it? Maybe, Nico, you start. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. As you already mentioned, we are a 100% subsidiary of Audi, and with a core focus to develop and implement digital services. Mm-hmm. And I think the core aspects actually are that Audi is very consciously investing in the ability to be able to develop new services, mm-hmm. and to be able to hold a certain skill level, especially when it comes to a very crucial point in the later times, and whenever you want also to develop further services, for example. A different aspect is speed. Mm-hmm. Our entire structure is quite lean. The processes are leaner, also guidelines are leaner, and we're able to also acquire certain skills, and the interdisciplinary teams are very efficient. So we are able, with business experts and also IT experts, to implement things very quickly. And the last aspect, and I think this is the most important one, so to say, is actually to cultivate a new mindset. Mm-hmm. The entire, I would say, working culture within the Audi Business Innovation is very different. And Nicola, yeah, you experienced it yourself. And this is one of the, I would say, major aspects also to attract new talent and to hold it.
You have a special organizational principle, the holacracy model. And I'm not sure if everyone knows that, but maybe you can elaborate on what that is.
Sure. The holacracy model, at the end, I will not explain it because at the end we're not actually, or we haven't implemented the entire holacracy model, but we used parts of it and we gave it a little spin that it actually fits to our culture, mm-hmm. at the end. I think what is very important is what I learned since I'm with the Audi Business Innovation is that actually structure follows culture or the mindset. And therefore for us the mindset and building up a common mindset was always the most important thing to focus on. And we also manifested it in our operating model, the so-called ABI OS. And we developed 10 principles that we are very keen following on. Mm-hmm. And we are also trying to implement them into our entire working organization and also our daily business. And one of the main, I would say, principles is that we are a role-based organization. So we have very autonomous, self-organized teams with clear roles which are being defined. And each and every role has the clear responsibility for their accountabilities. And that allows us as a, for example, management team to also hand over the entire responsibility and then just to listen to their opinion because they at the end hold the competence.
Yeah. How do you actually bring on your leadership role?
Should I start?
As you want.
I learned by example from my leader. So I had a really great leader back at Audi, and it wasn't the classic boss. It was really leader, and he led me by example. And I tried to learn from his way how he taught me to challenge solutions or to accept change and stuff like that. And so I learned from how he reacted to some stuff. And so I wanted to incorporate that into my team. And that's basically how I learned it at Abi, but you probably have a very good answer to that as well.
I love your answer. I think leading by example is super important. I already mentioned the principles. I think it's very important to represent the principles. The second thing is also maybe leading with context. Also to always explain why you need certain things, why certain things need to be done in a certain way. And also allow critical questions and then actually react to it. You know, it only can become better. It's not a top-down decision that we're living. And another thing that I'm really proud of at Abi is that we're leading by roles. So we actually split the roles, the classical management roles, into two roles. So we have one role that is very much focusing on the human itself. So it is a role that carries the entire disciplinary part. And we have a professional leadership role, which then is more or less the owner of a circle or owner of a project, and then is challenging more on the target systems and the goals of the project itself. So, and I think this also to keep the balance and also have the human part especially very specifically, and then have a different kind of bondage also to your fellow or your colleague makes the difference.
Interesting, you guys. Well, we talked now about the work culture, your setup. What else does it take to spark ideas and turn them into scalable solutions?
Well, first of all, I think it's talent. You need talent. You need the kind of know-how in your company that you can actually move things, think things, and the second thing is commitment. And I think you can much easier talk about this. The kind
that
of
was the
commitment
intrinsic
and passion,
motivation.
the intrinsic motivation that you actually need to move things further. And the last thing is perseverance. You know, it is not a sprint that you're going, it's a marathon. And you need to be very, very digging into it. You sometimes need the right people at the right time that have the right budgets, the right understanding that you move on. And sometimes it's just luck.
Since 2019, we're live on the market with a product. We're actually doing, because we didn't talk about what we're doing, we developed a software and a tool to provide mobility budgets to employees so that the employer can introduce a mobility budget to the employees and they can actually use this budget however they would like to use it for mobility. And so, yeah, the status quo is that we are on the market. We are having customers in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, and newly added in the Netherlands. We're very proud of that.
Woo, woo.
And so, yeah, we were just in a scaling modus. So we are growing. We're trying to add new customers, trying to make the users happy. And we're also in a financing round.
What are your recommendations for corporates in order to enable sustainable solutions? In a sense of creating more than an idea, more than a prototype, but really a scalable solution.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the case of MOBIKO, it was really the first initial push and trust that there is not just the idea, but really the willingness to go further and to actually try it. And I think that's a lot of programs are missing this point. They're creating great ideas, but there is no commitment to go further and then to accept that there will be more money involved. There will be more resources involved. And I think that's what we did right. We decided, okay, to go for it, and also had the feeling, okay, there will be financing needed, and to support that, to give that ecosystem, to be willing to support an idea for a longer stretch. Just like Nico said, it's not a sprint, it's really a longer marathon that you have to run. And to stick to your, and I mentioned that before, to stick to your strengths, because the team needs to trust that they are doing the best job and they are really committed to it, but the partner needs to stick to their strength, and that could be the ecosystem, that could be network, that could be money. Just stick to your strengths, and then everybody kind of plays out.